Jason Carey here, National Urban League Small Business Matters, brought to you by Nationwide. Today, I get a chance to sit down with international entrepreneur Kirk Anthony Hamilton. Let's get to it. I'm Jason Carey. Welcome to Urban League Small Business Matters, brought to you by Nationwide. Get an opportunity to sit down and talk to Mr. Kirk Anthony Hamilton, CEO and founder of the Infiniti Partnership. Welcome. Thank you for sitting down with us today.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. Now, we'll get right into it. You have a background in architectural design, made the transition into entrepreneurship and investing. Kind of talk about what you do in your role now.
Firstly, I'm from Kingston, Jamaica, and that's where our business is based. And ultimately, what we're pursuing is bringing and attracting global resources into the Caribbean to help unlock economic prosperity for our people. So we've been doing this since about 2014, and really what it looks like is that we target some of the largest corporations in the world and organizations. We target individuals who have managed to create significant wealth through innovation, and we have them come into the Caribbean islands, meet with what we consider the best in the region, and ultimately opportunities unfold, and people get to do amazing things.
Why do you do what you do?
Coming from a place like Jamaica, most people know the name, right? So if you ask anyone about Jamaica, typically it would likely inspire a smile first. But the reality of the island is that for my entire life, I'm 32 now, the island has never experienced true economic growth. I guess there's some level of frustration balanced against the idea that I could do something about it that drove me to just get started. I wanted to be able to see young people like myself live life to their full potential, and that wasn't happening. So I decided to take that on.
What areas of tech do you think Black people should be focused on or invested in?
Emerging areas of technology are very important. So in the tech space, there's all this conversation usually about diversity and inclusion. And usually what you have are marginalized communities like African Americans and Latinos knocking on the door saying, you should let me in. But the expectation is almost that we're gonna bring in this major influx of new talent and kind of upskill them to service a need that is already being fulfilled. When you look at areas like blockchain, which is brand new, artificial intelligence, virtual reality, these areas that are just starting to find their place and are emerging and still yet to be understood, I think those are the areas that African Americans and other marginalized people need to place some level of emphasis on, because those areas are not yet owned. It leaves room for people to come in and kind of really place their stake, as opposed to becoming let's say a traditional software engineer. Not saying that you shouldn't pursue it, but in terms of programs of magnitude that are looking to shift the needle, I think that's an example of an area that needs fulfillment, where it's very difficult for people to question why you would want to go into that space.
Okay. You have a wealth of knowledge, and I guess that wealth of knowledge was somewhat rewarded. You said you were invited, part of a small group, to go to the White House. I think it was in 2015, correct?
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that experience at the White House.
So I was invited as one of 75 emerging global entrepreneurs to be honored by President Obama at the White House in May of 2015. I would say, very likely the greatest experience of my life. Coming from a place like Kingston, Jamaica, again, I usually say to people, despite the fact that I have lived in the US, I've spent a lot of time here, I've done business here, these are some of the things that you're not necessarily taught to dream about, right? Because it just doesn't fall into context. So to have the opportunity to enter a space like that and be amongst the people that we were amongst, which included the president, people like Mark Cuban from Shark Tank, Damon John, Barbara Corcoran, and I don't know if you're familiar with Hamdi Ulukaya, who's the founder of Chobani Yogurt, who happens to be a mentor of mine. He happened to be there. And so awe-inspiring experience, and at the same time, our platform, the Destination Experience, was recognized as an innovative platform for the promotion of entrepreneurship and a unique business catalyst. So for me, as I said, it was probably the greatest experience I've ever had, from the simple standpoint that you can't design these things. I can't recreate it. And it was a very, very big deal.
Congratulations on even being invited.
Oh yeah, thank you.
That's a small group. You said 1 in 75?
Yeah, 75 of us. I don't think anybody believed until they actually got to walk through the door.
Any advice you have for tech entrepreneurs?
From the tech side, what I would encourage is that we're living in a world that is rapidly changing because of technology, and it is very important, especially in the context of our conversation. We're talking about African Americans and Caribbean people, to take a greater level of onus in terms of understanding the shift that is happening in the world, and the need to kind of ready themselves to participate in it.
Kirk Anthony Hamilton. Awesome. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you very much for having me.
Really enjoyed it. Quality information, another episode of Quality Information here. This is the National Urban League Small Business Matters, brought to you by Nationwide.